Okay, we're gonna try this again one more time. I am Tiffany Roberts, and I'm going live with a friend, and we're gonna talk about the power of Reiki. Let's see if I can get her on here. The power of Reiki tonight. Here we go. Let's see if I can add one more time.
Oh, it's weird. Why does it turn me upside down?
Oh, computers, I tell ya. It's still not working.
It
But
doesn't matter which way I go, it seems to make it upside down.
we can see you.
I'm just in an upside down house. That's all.
Let's see. Let's see if there is an option to do. Nope, it doesn't say. Here we go. Oh, you're on there. Okay. Well.
That's so. See if I'm trying to find a option to rotate. Nope. I can switch it to my back camera, but I can't seem to. Why doesn't it know which way is up?
Technology, I tell ya.
Oh, good grief. That's so funny.
Some really great tricks there. I'm just like.
This is the power of Reiki. You can float on your head.
This is what you can do. Perfect. Okay.
All right. Shall we try my phone and see if that will do any better?
Yeah, let's try that.
Sorry. All right. Let me try again.
It's a learning process. Okay, let's see. See how she's doing now. She's back on. Let's see. There you are.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so phone works. I just gonna get my tablet turned off there so it doesn't go in the background. Okay.
Perfect. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Awesome.
Getting over a cold, so excuse
Me
the
too.
slightly raspy voice.
We're twins on that. So as I was saying, I am Tiffany Roberts, and this is my special guest tonight, Alicia Petrancola. She lives in Colorado at the moment with her wonderful husband, and she's going to tell us all about the wonderful power of Reiki. As all of you know, I'm very much into natural healing. So when she accepted my invitation, I was very excited because, the power of Reiki is powerful. So I can't wait to dive more into this tonight with her because she is a Reiki master. So I'm very excited to learn from you tonight. Can you tell us a
Thank
little
you,
bit
Tiffany.
about yourself?
Oh, sure. Like Tiffany said, my name is Alicia Petrancola. Recently moved to Colorado. Married just over a year, and we're expecting our first little baby. So big year of changes. So about it. That's all I do.
Well, what got you into Reiki?
So Reiki, I have personally done Reiki as a practitioner for about 6 years. I started, but I was first introduced to Reiki. Oh, it'd be about 10 or 12 years ago. I had a roommate whose mom had started studying it, and actually, I went to her house one day and I had been sick. I was coughing. I hardly had a voice. And she had just gotten her first attunement and asked, "Hey, can I try this on you? I want to see if it helps." And by the time we got to dinner, I made it through the entire dinner without coughing. I was talking and just like, I don't know what this magical thing is, but I need to learn more about it. And so from that point, I started getting Reiki, but I never really thought about doing it at first. But it was great for me and how it helped me both physically and with emotional issues. And then when later in my life, my first husband died, and my body was a complete wreck. And as I was trying to look for different options, Reiki kind of came back into my life, and you know what? Maybe this is a time to do this. So I started studying actually with that the same person who originally did Reiki at that point had become a master and had been teaching people for several years. So I started studying with her, and it was just a very enlightening experience for me, and it helped me get through much of the grief I was going through. It helped with physical issues I was dealing with. And from that point, I just continued my journey and was, this is definitely something I need to be doing in my life. So I kept studying and became a master myself, and um, I've done Reiki ever since, just as for friends or for my own family. Taking care of myself is what I really found blessed about it, and it's an opportunity to do your own business if you want to. You can just do it privately, but it changed my life, so that's how I got started in it.
That's awesome. Great. For for the lay person like myself, can you kind of give us like, the general overview of what Reiki is, or, maybe some history?
Yeah, the simplest terms for Reiki is it is a Japanese healing and relaxation technique. Reiki comes from two Japanese words, rei, which is spiritual wisdom or universal consciousness, and ki, which would be just like in Chinese medicine, your qi, that life force energy. So it's the combination of those. Reiki actually is a centuries old technique, but had been kind of over the centuries kind of lost and recently rediscovered um, about 150 years ago. And so everyone who practices now who has actually gone through the training and is a properly licensed practitioner can trace their lineage through Dr. Usui, who was the one that kind of rediscovered it and studied it and did a lot to kind of bring it back into modern day.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. That's awesome. So, is there different levels for people? I mean, what's some of the things that obviously it helps you through grief and helps you with wellness. Like, what if someone is out in the general public? What could Reiki really do to help them?
So what Reiki is because it ties into that universal energy source. Um, as a Reiki practitioner, we believe that any form of dis-ease physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, comes from an energy block, um, either within your body or within your aura.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you become a Reiki practitioner, what you do is you actually learn to channel that universal energy, the Reiki energy, and help direct it towards needed sources.
Mm-hmm.
So through that process, we can break through those energy blocks. Sometimes there's a spot where somebody's energy is going too fast, out of control, and we can calm it down. We can return that flow of energy, and that allows the body and the spirit to heal, whether it's that mental issue, emotional, physical. Um, so Reiki can be done in a one-on-one setting where you're treating something specific. You can do an overall wellness where you're kind of balancing all the, in Reiki, we work with 7 chakras, which are your main sources of energy, where you pull in energy and release energy into the world around you. In advanced levels of Reiki, you'll learn skills where you can send Reiki to someone even if you're not there. You can send it. So again, since it's a universal energy, it's not bound by location. It's not bound by time. So you can send Reiki to someone somewhere else, whether that's for an event that may be stressful coming up. You can send Reiki to it to help everyone that's involved with it. You can send Reiki to the world. You can use it for pets.
Mm-hmm.
There's countless uses for it.
So it's kind of like for some people, it's kind of like the power of prayer or intention. You're intending some good energy towards that person, right? Like a
Exactly.
quantum intention.
Exactly. When you first start in Reiki, there are 4 different levels. Um, the first level, Reiki 1, you have the ability to kind of work in your immediate area, but it's mostly intended for being able to treat yourself. Reiki 2, you start learning those tools to be able to send distance Reiki, where you can send it to an event, to others around you, to a message of peace, or um, even things you can send it, again, because it's not bound by time, you can send it to something in your past. If there's a traumatic experience that you're having trouble with, you can send something to that event and maybe help everyone that has been involved with that.
Right.
And then as you advance, that power, your ability to channel becomes stronger, so you can send more of that energy. And then you get to where you're actually able to um, help others develop that channeling ability too.
That's great. So basically, you have the power to, make more positivity around you, therefore creating a more positive community just by being able to do Reiki on, certain people or a group of people or things like that, right?
Yes, yes.
We need more of that now.
I know that's one of the great things about Reiki. It is a spiritual process for many
Mhm.
people. It's not a religion, but it does fit in with a lot of religions if you think about the that power of sending love, or that universal spirit behind it. That universal energy works much the same way. So you really can help a lot of people through that. So
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about the chakras and maybe what they mean? I as a natural practitioner, I kind of know what that means, but for people that don't know, can you kind of explain that?
yeah, so any every person has a series of chakras. There are 7 major chakras, and these are kind of energy centers. They spin, and they're how energy can come into your body. They're also how your energy can go out into the world. There are minor chakras throughout your body, but most of the time we focus on those 7 main ones. They line up basically along your spine, so from the very tailbone all the way up through just above your crown. Um, and they kind of follow actually almost like a hierarchy of needs. You
Mm-hmm.
start with the first chakra, which is the root chakra, which is at the very end of your spine. Um, Sometimes you'll see something about a red chakra. They're often associated with color, so you start with the red. And this one is basically your primal needs. This is where your will to live, your life force, your need for food. If you don't have food and shelter, that's often a chakra that can have um, blocks. So you kind of start there, and if everything isn't taken care of there, it's hard for the other chakras to be working correctly. Next, you have the sacral chakra, the second, which is orange. This works with vitality, enjoyment of life, your sexuality, desires, and it's again just keeps working up. So that chakra would be located a little below your belly button. The next one, the third chakra, is the solar plexus. It's associated with the color yellow. And this is where a lot of your power or your confidence, your self-esteem comes from. It's also where your fears reside. So when you get nervous and you get that kind of stomach ache, that's all in your solar plexus. So that's located just a little above your belly button. The next chakra, the fourth one, is the heart chakra. It's connected with color green. This, of course, is your center of emotions, where love comes from, your relationships, your ability to trust or have compassion are all out of that chakra. Next is the fifth chakra, your throat, which is associated with the color blue. This is where your ability to communicate, self-expression comes from, um, kind of your ability to speak your truth. So if you have problems feeling that you can speak your truth or that you're um, confident in being yourself, that's often a blockage in that chakra. Next, we have the third eye chakra, located mid forehead. It's associated with the color indigo. This is where your intuition starts coming in, thought control, your inner vision and understanding of yourself as it is connected to the rest of the world. And then finally, just above the top of your head, we have the crown chakra. This is represented with the color purple. Some people consider it white. This is the connection to your higher self. This is your consciousness of the oneness and really connection on the spiritual level to the world around you. So you're all embracing love, your inner guidance, everything is connected through there. So those are kind of the main chakras. So oftentimes when you first start out with Reiki sessions, we focus on making sure that all of those chakras are open to receiving, to putting out energy, that they're spinning correct speed. Sometimes they'll slow way down, sometimes they'll close off completely. And those are kind of the first places we start to get that base going, and from there we can then go to other more advanced chakras. We can find specific problems, but oftentimes if those chakras aren't aligned, anything we do beyond that won't take. We have to, it's kind of like getting your gut health straightened out. If your gut's not in shape, the rest of it won't be as successful. If your chakras aren't all working, the rest of the treatments won't be as successful either.
Right, right. That's amazing. So how what is like a general session look like to a layperson?
So if you're working with a Reiki practitioner, there are you will see people that do Reiki through massage. And so that may be a little bit different as they're incorporating both Reiki and massage into it. But a straight Reiki session, typically what would happen is you'd meet with the practitioner. Um, you can talk for a few minutes about if there are any issues that you do want to work through. Reiki, as you said the word intention before, Reiki really works based on intention. It really is that spiritual oneness. So if you have an intention of something you need to work through, sharing that, putting that out in the open is an indication that your spirit is ready to deal with it and ready to accept that.
Right.
And so that kind of helps guide the practitioner. Um, from there, they'll usually check your chakras to make sure that they are open and see if there is something we have to work with that way. Um, if they are all open, then we can usually start kind of connecting the minor chakras, connecting a basic energy flow. So we might start either head down or feet up, but connecting each major joint and from your feet to your ankles, knees, hips, making sure that energy is flowing and that there isn't a block somewhere. Then working your way up through kind of connecting each chakra together from front and back sides. Um, and then as we go, Reiki practitioners are also trained to just kind of scan for a place where we feel that change in energy where it's not flowing evenly through your body. That may come across as a spot that feels really hot or a spot that feels cold. Um, if people are, some people prefer not to talk during sessions. I find it helpful if people are willing to share, if they're, I'm feeling I feel like I have a heaviness there or a weight there, or sometimes they'll get a sense of a color somewhere when I'm giving Reiki, and that's a good indication that there's something there we can work with. So at that point, we might do additional Reiki in those areas, and we can again scan to kind of find where exactly those places are. What's really great about Reiki is it isn't us doing Reiki, it is us channeling Reiki. So we have been trained to actually kind of take ourselves out of it and just be open to what we're feeling and be directed by Reiki. Um, Reiki energy will find where it needs to go for anyone whose spirit is open to that energy. So even if there's something wrong and we can't find a specific spot, the Reiki knows where you need it, and it may know that maybe you're not able to discuss it with us. Maybe there's something you need there. As long as we continue giving that Reiki, it will get to where it needs to go. Of course, it's kind of like sitting next to a fire. You're going to be warmer the closer you are to it. So if we can put the channel closest to that place, of course it can be a little stronger power, but it will get there.
Mona was asking, does it help with emotional blocks?
Yes, yes, it does. Um, I mean, much of what I got into Reiki for was helping through emotional blocks. In Reiki, some of those blocks you might find actually touching on a body. It might be in layers of your aura from a trauma from when you were a child. That could be a physical injury that is causing an emotional block later, or vice versa. A traumatic event might be causing your pain now. But emotional blocks, um, anything that's happening emotionally, spiritually, those manifest the same way energetically in your body and in your aura. So it's that same kind of block either way. So yes, it can help through the physical blocks, emotional blocks, spiritual blocks, mental blocks as well. That anywhere that there is a block in energy or the flow of energy is interrupted in some way, or changed from what it's naturally meant to be, that can cause, sometimes it's even where energy is moving too fast, maybe a source of stress for you because you're not able to calm that down and handle it on a normal level. So for some reason that's rushing through, and that's the same kind of thing, that it's that energy block or speed or a slow area, and we can treat it that same way by giving energy to it.
That's great. So how can a, a typical person learn Reiki?
So learning Reiki, because this all ties back to Master Usui, who kind of rediscovered it, Reiki is something that is passed on from master to student. So you do need to find somebody who is a Reiki master to be able to teach Reiki to you. Um, I recommend always making sure that they are somebody who um, has completed the necessary requirements, that have worked through. There are several approved books and teaching guides that you work with. I've worked with the International Reiki Association, so they keep a list of everyone that has achieved their master's level certification, and they verified that they are part of the correct lineage. Um, but there are a couple different ways you can do, and what I prefer is the one-on-one where you work directly with a master, more in an apprenticeship kind of role. You can kind of set your own speed as to how you guys want to work through it, whether it's kind of having a day of learning, going and practicing and coming back. But you get that experience of doing some hands-on work, coming back, working through how that was. There are some approved more training style courses where some of the um, masters through the International Reiki Association who have studied under multiple lines from the lineage um, are are given the ability to teach courses for in a seminar setting. For you might go for a weekend intensive to learn Reiki 1. Um, and so as long as they are certified, they've already been vetted through the International Reiki Association that they have those qualifications to do that. But it won't be quite as personal of experience, but it's a way to still get that information. Um, what's really important about Reiki is this is considered a sacred practice.
Mm.
So if somebody is saying, "Hey, I'll just send you a video of this," or there's some symbols that we use that because this is sacred, they're considered sacred symbols, and we don't share them until the student has reached a certain point. So if you see somebody who's saying, "Oh, I'll just send them to you. We'll just do this," I wouldn't trust that source.
Yeah.
Um, you want it to be somebody who's working with you, who's checking your progress, and there to help you, there to answer questions for you, um, and then able to do the last part of each phase of Reiki, each level is getting the attunement, and that's where the master is actually helping align your chakras so that you can receive and channel the Reiki energy. And at each stage, you have another attunement, which allows you to become a more perfect channel to handle more Reiki energy. So you want to make sure you're getting that from somebody that's a trusted source,
Right.
um, that's been trained correctly, that's not going to skip steps.
Not just YouTube it.
Exactly.
But you are a master. So are you taking on students?
Yes, I am.
Um,
Yes. So
is,
I'm a master. I'm listed with the International Reiki Association as well. And their website is www.reiki.org. So you can find somebody that way. Welcome to reach out to me as well. I am training students as well. Also doing Reiki sessions. But that's a good way. I always make sure that you meet with that person that you're looking at studying with. Make sure you feel good about that person. And this is somebody you're going to spend a lot of time with. For me, Reiki was a very emotional process, so it's something you might need to, you want to feel comfortable with that person that you can share if things are working out. As you do those attunements and become aligned to receive that Reiki channeling abilities, sometimes there are some traumatic things that had been holding
Mhm.
you back from that, and they're going to work their way out, and that can be a tough process sometimes. So having somebody that you trust that you can talk to about it is really helpful.
Right. Because it's going to be a very emotional and close connection. So you want to be able to trust that person.
Yeah, and it's different for everybody. I've had attunements that immediately I felt light and amazing, and then the next attunement was, man, I went home and cried for hours. It was like I am letting something go now. Like
Right.
something worked its way out, and it was still beautiful, but it was a different experience. And then the next time again, it was back to more of the lighter. I feel that connection. I um, feel that openness and that connection to the oneness. So,
Mona asked how long you have been involved with Reiki.
so as an actual Reiki practitioner, about 6 years. Um, I've started receiving Reiki as a client about 10 or 12 years ago is when I first started receiving Reiki. And then it was later on that I realized how much Reiki was doing for me. And um, when it went through kind of a traumatic event, then the opportunity to start studying it came open to me, and it really changed my life. So
So do you accept, just regular clients, not just students?
yes, I
Awesome.
do. I do both the sessions where we do the Reiki treatments. I do a couple students that I'm training right now to learn Reiki themselves. So it's a
That's
fun
do
it's a
you
fun experience getting to share it with others. And I mean,
yeah.
honestly, getting to help people. I mean, that's one of the reasons I really loved it to begin with. That it was helping me so much, and being able to help my family when they were ill, help my friends when they had an injury. Um, One of my hobbies is theater, and I became very popular helping
Uh,
people that had injured themselves on stage or were dancing too hard. Or
yeah. How long does a typical session last?
you can take kind of tailor it as needed. For a full session, I prefer to leave about an hour and a half time. The Reiki session itself would be about an hour and 15 minutes of that. That gives you a few minutes to talk before actually starting the session. Also gives you a few minutes to kind of sit and relax afterwards. If there's anything that you do want to kind of sit and meditate on, um, you can do that too. So I would usually plan an hour and a half. However, definitely if somebody is like, "Can I see you on my lunch break? This thing is coming flaring back up." You can do a 30-minute session. Of course, the longer session is a little bit better. I have a little more time to do all the chakras and that, but um, you can definitely tailor it as needed.
Mona was asking something that just popped into my head too. Do you take long distance clients?
Yes, you can do Reiki long distance. Um, I typically like to, if if I don't already know you, I'd like to at least have some kind of video link or
Uh-huh.
something so I can connect and picture you as we're doing the Reiki. Um, but yes, you can do sessions long distance.
Like maybe through Zoom meeting or something like that.
A Zoom meeting would work, FaceTime, things like that work.
Perfect.
Zoom would be great, but that way, I like that. And then I like that you can give feedback as the session is going. If there's something that has come up as it's going, that or something that has changed, or hey, something new came to my heart as we're going through this, that can kind of help direct me as well as we go.
Awesome. I know you also use essential oils. Do you put any of that into your Reiki? Does that ever come up?
I do use essential oils. One of the things if I'm doing Reiki in person, and especially when I'm going through teaching somebody or doing the attunements, we use Reiki to cleanse the room,
Uh-huh.
to make sure that it has good energy. And um, so what I do use oils as part of, I'll diffuse oils before a Reiki session so that something like grounding, sometimes I'll kind of muscle test if there's
Yeah.
anything that you know is coming up, but um, grounding is a good one. Transformation has been one I've used for people. Present time, some of the ones that I've used. Frankincense, of course.
Mm.
But I often will diffuse that in part of my room preparations to kind of prepare the space, make sure it's a good, clean energy. And especially when I'm doing an attunement, I'll be clearing the room for a day beforehand just to make sure that it's the best possible environment for when we actually do that ceremony to get you aligned to the power.
Yeah. Perfect. So how would people contact you for either having a Reiki session or becoming a student?
I can maybe what would be best, is there a way I could share my email address in the comments?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. Let me do that after we finish up. I can post my email address. If you do have any other questions or want to reach out directly, you can do that.
Perfect. Great. And you guys can PM me, you can PM her. I will get you in contact with Alicia if you would like, if you want more information on that. Is there anything else that you would like to cover tonight? That was a lot of great information.
Oh, thank you. I think that hit the highlights. I mean, there's definitely a lot to learn if you want to become a master in Reiki, but it's a very rewarding process, and I think something that's healing for, I mean, Reiki it's a great thing because it heals yourself as that energy goes through to heal someone else. So it's always something that's giving and healing. So
Great. Mona was also asking, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. She says, how is Reiki different than the aroma freedom technique? And is there a comparison between the two therapies? Um, as a certified aroma freedom technique, it uses scent, smelling of the essential oils to help with the emotions or the memories. Reiki uses more of an energy, right?
yes,
Okay. So it's kind of comparable, but with a aroma freedom technique, you're using essential oils to reprocess the limbic system and that memory for a more positive memory. But Reiki is similar. It's just using more of the chakras and the energy and cleaning, the negative energy out, right?
yeah, I think
Okay.
that's a great description of it.
Perfect. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? These are some great questions asked to her. Do you want to cover anything before we close up tonight?
I, I think we've hit a lot of the basics.
Yeah, yeah. I
Just
think we should come back and do like another advanced talk.
Oh yeah, we could definitely do that. There's lots of ways Reiki, I mean, can get into how Reiki works with pets, using it. It's becoming more prevalent in even hospital settings to help as a complementary medicine. So it's a pretty cool thing. So
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Alicia. This was amazing. Thank you so much for taking time out, and I'm looking forward to more, and I'm also looking forward to that baby coming soon.
me too. Well, thank you so much, Tiffany. I really enjoyed this.
You're welcome. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right, thank you, and have a blessed day, everyone.
You too. Thanks, guys.